And I'm going to relate this into the Jackson Blake contract extension from last night.
Okay.
One of the things I love when we get to games like this early, right? I was sitting here watching our engineer put everything together as players were literally walking around us to get to the clubhouse and start getting ready.
Shout out Dave Modlin.
Shout out Dave Modlin, who was bearing the heat for us. Feels like 106 according to the weather here in Durham. But then as the players got out there and started warming up, there were a couple of them, tarps off, as they say in hockey, getting a nice little tan. They had the football, right? Because a lot of pitchers and things warm up, strengthen their shoulder using a football. And they were tossing it around, and I went, oh, yeah, they may be professional athletes. They may be one step from the bigs, but they're playing a kid's game. And they're just out there running around like, go deep, like having fun a couple hours before a AAA baseball game. And then I'm thinking about the Jackson Blake contract. Jackson Blake signs an 8-year contract extension. He's going to be making a little over $5.6 million a year. And I go, this dude is 21 years old.
Yeah.
He was a rookie this past year that got to the NHL fairly young. Mm-hmm. And now he's got, $40 million guaranteed coming his way.
45.
Which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
It is. Like, imagine yourself at 21 years old and suddenly you got the cash to pretty much do whatever you want. It is a testament to the hard work and talent and ability and everything that he's had. But it's also, when you sign that 8-year extension, and we've seen a bunch of them for the Canes, 8, 7, 6, like these guys, the reason why you're comfortable signing that term is because they're still going to be, early 30s, mid 30s when those are coming to the end. The Canes really are taking a bet on some young guys that they are going to be able to develop, that they are going to be able to continue getting better, jump a level, and then jump another level. And if they do that, you have an unbelievable percentage of your core locked up for a long time, to the point where he's going to go from, oh my goodness, this 21-year-old has $45 million coming his way, to, oh, look, this fully grown member of society, 30-year-old has been a part of the Canes for the last decade. Is what like that's where he's going to go on this contract.
It's like a whole, and you're hopefully, hey, look, another 25-goal season. That's you're anticipating the growth, and that's something that we've seen with the Logan Stankoven extension, as well as this Jackson Blake extension. Remember, each of those guys have a year left on their entry-level contract, so we're talking 9 years for these two young guys, and Jackson Blake's about to turn 22 years old. And you look at it in the sense of, as a rookie, first full year professionally. Remember, Logan Stankoven did play a bunch of games in Dallas,
particularly in the postseason.
And in the postseason. And then last year was his first full year in the NHL. But Jackson Blake played every game up until the last week of the season when Rob Brind'Amour was just simply resting guys. But he played pretty much every game this entire season. 17 goals, 17 assists. And there were some stretches, Tim, during the season where he was creating scoring chance after scoring chance after scoring chance. The puck just wasn't finding the net. And then once it actually kind of broke the seal, he was goal late there in the regular season. And that, again, just a rookie, he still has 3-4 years of development years when you hit the prime of 25, 26 to age 30. And Canes got him locked up for that. You look at the goal production, and also just some of the underlying numbers of the way he wins board battles, the puck possession, and those kinds of things. You're banking on, yes, that's going to continue to grow. He's far from a finished product.
Rod Brind'Amour was talking with Paul Ihander earlier today right here on this network about the Canes identifying young talent, which is something we've been talking about, and then signing them long-term. Here's what Rod had to say.
When you invest in those kind of players, you're investing in people, and, whether they ever actually, reach that full potential, whether or not, you're still okay with them because you know what they bring in the room and what kind of people they are and the work ethic and all that stuff. So I think we've done a real good job identifying that. And like I said, when you like somebody and know it's a great fit, you want to make sure you can try to keep them around as long as possible.
What I really like about the way the Canes structure, meaning decision-making structure, is set up now is, I believe, the two most important voices in decisions like this are Eric Tulsky, the GM, and Rod Brind'Amour, the head coach. And you get kind of both sides checked off. I've talked about this over this offseason. I think it's been fairly obvious, just reading body language and hearing the names that he throws out, that Rod Brind'Amour really likes Jackson Blake as like a dude in the locker room, as somebody that he's seen working and things like that, right? He was on a podcast, I don't know, a month or so ago, and he's going, when you got guys like Aho and Jarvis and Blakers, and I'm like, whoa, okay, those are the three names you throw out there as like a certain group. Like he really likes Jackson Blake. And then the opposite side of that is I don't believe Eric Tulsky is signing anyone to an 8-year extension without having advanced analytics that say this guy is great and he's only going to get better, and the things he does well are things that translate to long-term success. Yep. So you have both sides kind of agreeing, where you have, the ultimate culture locker room in there every day head coach, and you have, the GM with 27 patents and a calculator also saying this guy is worth an 8-year extension, and that makes it much more comforting that he'll be a part of the bet that the Canes are making. Now, the bet that the Canes are making with that kind of term, it is exceptionally high reward, right? Because if Jackson Blake takes a jump and takes another jump and maybe another jump, all by the time he's 26 years old, you have years at the end of that contract that are absolute steals.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Same with Stankoven. Absolutely.
Same with Stankoven. Same with Jarvis. Same with Slavin. Like, some of these deals, especially with the way the cap is going, I think have the ability to age in a way that, you're looking at a Stanley Cup window of 3 or 4 years where everybody else is going, how in the heck did they get these guys to agree to the contract? Which, the timing of it all matters, because there's deferred money on this.
Yes, there is.
So a little over $5.6 million a year, you're essentially getting a $500,000 discount on the cap hit. It'll be about 5.1. Same thing with the Jarvis. Kind of like, they've done this a few times, but the deferred money is no longer allowed on the next CBA, which starts up in essentially a year.
So this was his last chance to do that. And plus an 8-year deal is your last chance to do it as well.
Correct, because the max term will be 7 years. So you're going to be 8 years into the part of the NHL era where deferred money is not allowed, and the Canes will still be benefiting $500,000 a year on the Jackson Blake deal because of deferred money. It's like being grandfathered in. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking of this. My in-laws have a house on a lake, and you're not allowed to have motors of a certain size on the boat. But if you already had it there when they made that rule, you can just keep fixing that motor and you can keep it there. So it's like, the new people showing up are like, oh man, I can't, but there's a couple of them out there that are just cruising around. Like, there's going to be a goal scoring wing 2 years from now that someone else wants to sign to a $6 million deal and have it only count as 5.5. And they're going to go, well, how come they get to do it? And it's like, well, they were here before the rule was made.
We were smarter than you longer ago. How about that?
And the other thing is, they took the chance of doing it very quickly with Jackson Blake.
Yep.
Because I want to take a little time travel back. You go to this point last year, I was advocating, and our show was advocating for at least one rookie to be in the opening day lineup, right? Because they had a bunch of veterans and it was going at least one. Notice I said at least one rookie. I didn't say I was advocating for Jackson Blake. It was like, if it's Bradley Nadeau, if it's Felix Unger-Sorum, if it's Jackson Blake, just one of them. Jackson Blake was thrown into the lineup and, like you said, never came out. Just kept earning more and more trust, right? Given a little bit more and more responsibility. There were stretches he was skating with the top line. This was a team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and as a rookie, he was skating with the top line for chunks of time. So all of that adds up to, I think it's a really good, it is a gamble. And any 8-year contract for somebody who's not already super established is a gamble, right? Because it could go south as well. But I think it's a gamble you really try to make.
Here's the thing as well. Again, I mentioned some of the underlying numbers for Jackson Blake. If you look at expected goals per 60 minutes of ice time, Seth Jarvis was number 1 on the team at 1.31 goals per 60 minutes.
Another darling along the way, and locked up for a long time.
You know who is second on the team?
I have a feeling it's going to be Jackson Blake.
It's Jackson Blake at 1.26.
I only guessed that because of the way you phrased the question, not because I would have guessed that like in a vacuum.
So yeah, and then and again, that's estimated goals per 60 minutes. So you're looking at some of the underlying numbers are there again for a young guy to continue to grow into that. That number's better than Svechnikov, better than Logan Stankoven, better than Eric Robinson, Sebastian Aho, all these other guys. Only Seth Jarvis had a better expected goals per 60 minutes than Jackson Blake did. So again, once he learns how to continue to do it at the NHL level, because you come from college where you're playing 40, 42 games or so, then, go play 80 plus the playoffs. It's a little bit more difficult. You're going to hit that rookie wall.
I'm going to read just a list. We are coming up on the 2025-2026 NHL season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to read the names that are under contract with the Carolina Hurricanes through at least the 2028-2029 season.
Okay.
Sebastian Aho.
All right.
Nikolai Ehlers, Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov, Logan Stankoven, Jackson Blake, Eric Robinson, Will Carrier, Bill Carrier. I've Paul Ihander calling him Bill Carrier in my head all the time. Will Carrier, Jacob Slavin, Keandre Miller, and Sean Walker. They are all under contract through the 2028-2029 season, and the cap is going up. And
so that's the next 4 seasons, by
the way. The cap is expected to rise significantly each of the next 2 years, and you're not going to have to re-sign any of those guys. And that's a really, really good core. And if you expect 3 or 4 of them to take pretty good jumps, especially the young guys, Stankoven, Blake, maybe a Jarvis, that sets you up for a Stanley Cup winning window where you realize the last 7 years where they had some runs at it, made some Eastern Conference Finals, really built something. It may have been building towards the next 4 years of protecting assets, and before you go all in, this is now kind of the time.
And the cap hit doesn't kick in until the 26-27 season because, again, still in the final year of his entry-level deal. So the Canes still have roughly that $11 million of cap space to work with this year if they want to make a move during the season to make a trade for a rental, whatever it might be. And then going into next year, the only guys not under contract for the 26-27 season are Mark Jankowski, Freddie Anderson, and Mike Riley. Essentially, you're maybe 12th, 13th forward, your 7th defenseman, and one of your goalies. Now, Alexander Nikishin is a restricted free agent, but next year you're projected to have over $15 million in cap. Next year, you could still make all the moves that you want to do. Like, it's amazing how the Canes and Eric Tulsky, that whole front office, have set themselves up not only for success now, but can still win in the future, like you just said. They're in a great, great spot.
And multiple first round, some of the teams that are set up the way they are, you look at it and you're like, oh, they don't have a first round for the next 4 years. They have prospects, they have draft picks. They're set up nicely, and they've taken care of a lot of guys, which is very Canes of them.
Oh yeah.